to a deserving beneficiary a new housing. How is this done? This is done because the government of Jamaica is able to put a budget in place over time, over 5 years, and project this budget into the future against a set target of houses that it will deliver. We estimate that there are about 6,000 households in Jamaica that are in the worst of the worst living condition, meaning that their condition falls below what the average person in Jamaica would accept as reasonable housing conditions. 6,000. This is therefore what the social conscience baseline is. And that social conscience should say, these persons should get a benefit to improve their housing condition.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
So, yeah, you were asking about the social housing program. So the social housing program is designed to assist Jamaicans who are in the most difficult housing situations, meaning that their housing condition is such that it is considered to be unsafe, unhealthy, in a state of dilapidation, and their economic condition is such that they are not able to improve, upgrade, repair, or rehabilitate their housing. They are not working, they are probably retired, they are senior citizens, all right, or they're indigent. We also require that the beneficiary has access, owns, or has permission, or has permission to use the land on which the granted benefit will be built. So, how do you actually get on the program? The first point is through your Member of Parliament. It's an MP-driven program. All right. Bless. All right. So they will take your information. They are allotted 5 housing solutions each year for each constituency. All right, I hear you. And they then pass these applications on to the new social housing program, which is a unit in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation under housing. And that unit has an oversight committee which takes all the applications. They vet them and they do very thorough, very rigorous social investigation. So they actually come to your house or where you reside. They do a social survey. They talk to the people in your community. They verify your employment status, your income status, your ability to work. They do a thorough check. And then after that process, they then verify that you actually either own the land or have access to the land or permission. And that would include bringing all the documentation and taxes up to date. And then from that process, it goes back to the selection committee to determine whether or not you actually pass the criteria. The whole process can take as short a time as 8 months, or we have seen situations where the process is as long as 2 years. So there is some amount of patience required. We are delivering now approximately 5 to 6 units per week, and we are completing probably about 8 to 10 per week. The objective is to... All right! The objective is to increase the pace of completion and increase the pace of delivery. We're over 300 houses now, so I'm expecting that next year the program will have developed the horsepower to be able to increase the pace at which we deliver, so that more people can get their houses more quickly. All right, TikTok, good talking to you. I'm going to get back to some work now as we head to the next. There seems to be a notion in the minds of the public that the NHT is placing housing on the market that is over and above what could be considered either low income, affordable, or achievable housing. We took a policy decision some years ago that the NHT should focus its resources and use those resources to stimulate and support bringing to market low income, affordable housing, and achievable housing. Persons who fall within the category of low income get 0% interest on their mortgage. 0%. An affordable house would be one in which the person's income could support approximately 30% towards a mortgage. They're not necessarily stretching to afford the house. The strategy for the NHT is to try to keep the price of the house, that price point, very low, so that persons who are earning low income or just above low income would be able to manage a mortgage, which would be somewhere between 30 or maybe 40% of their income.
In Jamaica, a promise is being built, brick by brick, block by block. The government's ambitious housing initiative has brought new homes to communities across the island. On the surface, it appears to be a successful story, but beneath the concrete lies a growing controversy. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has framed the housing initiative as a mission of national upliftment, an effort to provide affordable homes for those in need and to transform struggling communities. According to Prime Minister, this is about dignity. It is about giving Jamaicans a better future, starting with a place to call home. And for many Jamaicans, that vision has become a reality. Thousands have received homes. Lives have been changed, but not everyone sees this as a story of progress.
No, sir. One set of people can dung, sir, and illiterate and lag ahead. Not at all. Not from the JLP people. We are educated and intelligent and smart, and we think witty. Because we know what is right. We can read very well. Come. There are two housing programs which is going on in Jamaica. One is formed by the local government. This is indigent. Those that build the house for those on the land, it's government land. The government identify land and build house, give you what you cannot do. You cannot add to that house. You cannot pass on that house to anybody into your family. You have to live out that land until you die and they pass on to somebody else who need it. That's formed under the local government that was formed 2016. Who is responsible for that? Desmond Mackenzie. Second, the new social housing program formed by the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the best Prime Minister we can say so far, 2018. This land now, it is your own land. Your grandmother, your great, and your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, somebody buy land give you. This is your house. The government can't do nothing to it. As long as you identify that land with your property, your paper, they build a house for you. And you can add to it as you want. If you know you're sick, you can wait out to your children. So, to make those who do not educated and intelligent enough turn it into one bag of income, pooh, and tell about the government is freaking, the government is nothing, they're going to take away house and you can't own a house. Yeah. Two housing. You choose which one you want. You don't have a land. You don't want to capture no land. So you rather go live on a government land. So they build you a house and their property, the government land. And you live there. You can't do nothing to it. Plain and simple. No matter the size of it or it stay, you have to live it out. And when you're dead, somebody else get it. The new social housing program is by the Prime Minister from 2018. Remember, I tell you, that's your personal land. He build a house, give you, he can't sell nothing to you. You can build it out to your sons, your daughter, your brother, anybody you wish. Which Prime Minister is so good? Which government is so good and nice? We can't complain now. We love this government. So choose the indigenous land and the new housing program. Which one you rather? Rather choose the latter. JP out.
So you might find it hard to believe that 8 persons used to live here. And indeed, there are many circumstances like this right across Jamaica. It's difficult to estimate the number, but every 10 years or so, we do a survey when we do the census. We have just finished the census. The data is now being compiled, so we'll get a better sense of what the state of Jamaica's housing stock is. We estimate, however, roughly, that there are about 6,000 households right across Jamaica. And these households are usually no-income households, meaning that the persons who live there are not working. And because they are not working, they don't have income, you would not expect them to be able to purchase a home or afford a mortgage for a home. So truly, that family, that household will probably never be able to acquire proper housing unless, of course, let's say a family member, got a good education, got a job, or through some other means acquired some amount of wealth and was able to acquire proper housing. And that is not going to be the likely situation. And so it is important that government has a program to intervene in this, to break this cycle of shelter poverty. And that program is a new social housing program. The intention is to build 6,000 units or more to ensure that the persons who are living in the worst of the worst shelter conditions can have an opportunity to break the intergenerational cycle of housing poverty. And we have intervened in one such family. We have intervened now in over 300 families. And this is the result. So we have moved this family from shelter poverty to shelter prosperity. It is an amazing feeling, especially to be able to do it at Christmas. Yes, and I would really love to be able to do it for many, many more families. But you can imagine that we are on a learning curve. We are now 3 years in, and I think we have refined the procedures. And the next step now is to scale it up. So we are increasing the budget next year. We are bringing in innovation in construction. And I am hopeful that instead of doing 300, we can do 600. And that will increase the pace. So all the people in Jamaica who are hopeful and looking out, when will it be my time? Your time will come.
Roughly 10,000 students graduate from Jamaica's top 4 universities annually. The majority of graduates are young professionals like Lauren, who after finding a job, aspire to buy into one of the many apartment complexes now being built in Kingston.
There has been some in the Waterloo area that I've seen that's pretty decent. They're pretty.
Pretty on the eyes, but also pretty costly. The average price of a 2-bedroom apartment jumped from $28 million 3 years ago to over $40 million today on average. So I'm currently standing at 7 Devon Road in Kingston, just across the road from where the Halo luxury apartments will be. Construction is still underway. It's the dream of many young professionals to be able to afford somewhere like this, but the cost is prohibitive. Prices at the Halo complex range from $40 million for a 1-bedroom to $50 million for a 2-bedroom apartment. Lauren had this to say.
Hearing the prices kind of deter you from wanting to try. When you compare your basic salary to what it would be to acquire a home, it's kind of a turn off, I would say.
Other young professionals feel the same way. I met Brianna and Michael at the Devon House, a stone's throw away from the Halo complex.
My salary isn't high enough to try and get a house anytime soon, even with a partner. It feels very difficult, as well as getting a mortgage. Like, just for something in the 30 mils, I'd be having to pay like 200K or more, depending on the deposit. And it feels impossible. That alone is more than my salary.
They mainly cater to persons who are of the higher echelon in terms of income, and they tend to buy these houses and then hold on to them. So the regular professional just coming in, they don't have the income to buy the house straight out. It causes a lot of people to feel like there's no chance of us in Jamaica as young professionals to earn enough to be able to own a home and escape renting.
The government has admitted that there is a housing crisis. A national housing needs assessment showed that Jamaica has to build 15,000 new units annually to keep up with demand from its growing population. But only about 11,000 new units are being built. The National Housing Trust, or NHT, which was established to make home ownership easier and more affordable, provides loans to first-time homeowners. $7.5 million Jamaican dollars is the maximum a single contributor can borrow from the trust, or up to $8.5 million if the unit is $12 million or less. The people we spoke with do not think that is enough.
Even after partnering with somebody, you'd have to take out an additional loan. And even after that, you'd have to go seek financial assistance somewhere else. Then I think there's more to be done and more can be done.
Realtor Winroy Williams says as long as the demand continues to outstrip supply, prices will continue to rise.
Demand is great, but to add to that, the cost of construction, the cost of labor, the cost of all the input into the final product. Now, is this justified? I'm not so sure if it's justified, but the fact is, prices are what they are.
Mr. Williams believes young professionals need to start approaching home ownership differently.
One, do what you can with what you have. If it means you had an idea to buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Kingston, and based on the price, you cannot reach that price, one option, partner with somebody. That's one way. Another way, buy where the money affords you to buy.
In April 2024, the Prime Minister announced a revised First Step housing program to address the housing crisis. The National Housing Trust will be building 1-bedroom apartments in or near urban centers, especially as starter homes for young professionals. People like Lauren, Brianna, and Michael may finally be able to buy one of the 11,000 housing units.
Critics say the housing program, while helpful to some, may be serving hidden purpose, enriching the powerful. The concern is not the housing itself. It is who is profiting from the contacts behind the scenes. Some of the companies supplying building materials have allegedly ties to close associate to the Prime Minister. Allegations of corruption and cronyism have surfaced. Reports suggest that firms benefiting from the program may be owned or quietly controlled by individuals with direct access to political power. This isn't about development, it is about using public funds to create private wealth for a select few. So what is the truth? Can a program be both helpful and harmful? Can really people benefit even if the system itself is flawed? The housing program continues. Homes are being built, lives are being touched, but at the foundation rise, so does the questions. Is this genuine effort to uplift a nation or a well-constructed illusion masking political gain? Let us know what you think in the comment section. Subscribe for more.